good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Neeka.
We have a very
Hi.
special guest today.
Yeah,
Kirsten,
I'm
do you want to introduce?
Totally having a hot flash, just warning
Yeah,
everybody.
this is real life.
I'm glistening. So this is Neeka DeGraw, and anybody that knows me knows that I love DeGraw. Like I've told her before we came on here, is that I have just been following the DeGraw family for many years. I love you. You just
So have I. It's interesting.
I just think you have such a special family. You're so close, and I don't mean to sound stalkerish because I'm not. I just really enjoy family, and I think that that's what you guys all stand for.
And music. Music's a huge part of your
Right.
world and your family's
Oh, for
world.
sure.
And just connecting with some of the songs and everything. And you posted something last week, Neeka, that I wanted to ask you about. It was, what was the name of that song? We wrote it.
Fear.
Fear. Who is this band?
Oh, Blue October.
Yeah.
Yes, I really, really love them. So Blue October actually was very big back when I was in, I mean, they weren't very big. They had a great song called Hate Me. It was one of their biggest hits back when I was in college. Well, I never followed them or anything like that. I remember loving the song. Years and years later, fast forward, I moved to Tennessee. I meet this girl, Nicole. She's currently my best friend. She is a big follower of Blue October. So she kept talking about them, going to their concerts. So she sent me some clips from a concert that she went to. They kind of have a cult following. They're not real big on the radio, although they're starting to come out more now on like Hot AC, my 30s and up. She sent me a clip from the concert, and I was like, it reminded me of like seeing my brother live. You can't capture the whole feeling of it on a CD or on iTunes or all of that. When I saw it, I was like blown away by his passion, his voice, his talent. And I said, I'm going to the next show. I started downloading every song. I didn't even listen to them. I'm like, just downloading. And if I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say that they are all that I listen to, and their music has helped me through so many difficult times. But not only that, some of his music is angry, some is joyful, some is sad. I mean, it's just all of the human emotions and expressed so well. Even my father, he listens in the car with me. He's like, this guy's got a great voice.
So do they perform primarily in Nashville? Or
no, well, they let me see, the lead singer's name's Justin Furstenfeld. He's from Texas. I'm definitely not a stalker, so I don't know a whole lot about their history and everything, but I am a little bit obsessed. I would call them my obsession. But they play I know that they love Nashville, but they tour all over the place. Sort of a little bit smaller venues, but a real cult following. People show up. And recently, I was actually supposed to go to a concert, and then COVID happened. So the concert will be happening later in the month, but they've been doing free live concerts online. So I've gotten to do that, and he goes live like every day. He's just talking, I watch here and there. It's been really awesome.
I love how all of the artists have been doing just little concerts from their living room. It's been like so fun to watch, but definitely going to follow this band on your recommendation. And
please do. Blue October. You'll love everything by them. You'll just find things that speak to you all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very cool.
Well, we're here to talk about your new venture since this whole COVID thing. I heard on your podcast, we had some downtime. You're usually quite busy, but you have just kind of fallen into this new obsession with baking and making memories and remembering memories. And do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, I'm usually very busy, and then we had COVID and I got busier somehow, kind of accidentally and overnight. It started with my great grandmother's mandel bread recipe. We called it mandel bread growing up. I've never made it in my entire life. And I thought, well, I've got time now, and my children were all home, my adult children, but they're all home quarantining with me. I said, what does a mother want to do? They want to cook for their children. And I've always loved baking, whether it's
I don't know if I want to cook for my children.
It didn't, for me, if I even just baked a cake out of a box, and the smells and everything, and I that's warmth, and I want to feed the kids. So and in all my busyness all the time, there were plenty of nights my kids had to feed themselves and everything else. So here we are all home. So I'm going to make this house smell beautiful. Let's do something great. Thought of my grandmother's mandel bread recipe because my mother made it not that long ago before she passed, but she only made it a couple of times. But I said, I have to try this. I can't let this recipe, just go away.
Right.
So I asked my aunt for it. I made it, expected it to be an epic fail. It was fantastic. And so I wrote a story about it and posted it, and the group was born that way. And I just had an extra page on my Facebook attached to it, thinking, one day I'll use this extra page. I don't know what for, a professional page, this or that. And Baking New Memories happened.
It's funny how community just kind of glops onto that and forms like their own little family.
Totally.
And
I was
you always
really
find what you're looking for. So there's just a whole community of people, I think, that were looking just for that. Because you actually kind of exploded and grew quite fast as I was following. And your live one the other day.
Oh my gosh, I was in stitches.
You had when I last looked, 260 comments or 260 people engaged in that conversation, which is really big. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot, and it's exciting. But what I love about it, and the whole reason that the group is private, and everybody's welcome to join, but it's a private group because we're also supporting each other with more. This isn't just post recipes and find something to make, on a Saturday night or whatever. This is memories involved and help, and we're all creating memories together now at this point, and that is a very key ingredient in baking new memories. Is if you're bringing a memory with an older recipe that maybe you haven't made in a long time, to go ahead and dig it out. If you, like I did with Charles and Tamara Williams, who had lost their home in the tornado, he had lost all his grandmother's recipes. These are the reasons that I love this group so much. And one of the girls, Katrina, who had a recipe of her grandmother's, but it was in Spanish, and she didn't understand it, so she never made it. And we translated it for her because my oldest daughter's boyfriend's Venezuelan, and he was quarantined with us. Translated it, we've made it, we've eaten it. Charles only remembered things that were in his grandmother's kugel, but I took his memories and baked them into my grandmother's kugel and came up with a new memory, right? That's what it's all about for me. The love side of the
and so it brings up a really good point. First of all, and I think, Kirsten, you could agree with me, I always have a little joke that Kirsten and I have been friends for about 25 years, and I knew the minute that I met her, I was going to love her, because I picked her up one day to do something early in our relationship, and she's like, oh, I had to get the kids dinner. And I'm like, oh, what'd you make them? And she said, cheese, tortillas, and peanuts. I'm like, this is my girl. This is my girl. So, so we my kids, and I asked them once, not too long ago, I said, if you had to pick 5 of the favorite things that I made for you growing up that we could pass on, what would that be? They couldn't come up with 5.
That's hilarious.
So, but that just brings me to the whole point of when my mom passed away about 1.5 years ago. And you want to carry on your tradition and your mom's memory or your family members, legacy or whatever. And hers was her rice meatballs that she actually got from my grandma. So, and they're kind of tedious and time consuming. So I just never really made them much. So when she passed away, for her thank you card, or, her memorial thank you card.
She had early onset.
She died of early Alzheimer's. So we decided, my sisters and I, wouldn't it be cool to pass her recipe along as the thank you gift to her memorial?
That was their thank you card.
I'm going to post that on in this Facebook page, if that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, so that's reflected.
Absolutely, and that's perfect, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. I kind of feel, I do feel strongly, we have a responsibility to keep all of these memories alive. If we let them go, where's the tradition? Where's the thread of family through? I want my children to remember the smells and the taste and the stories. And that's something that happened when we made the mandel bread. It opened up a door of stories, and I told my children about their great grandparents and the things that we used to do at my great grandparents. It's their great great grandparents, my great grandparents. But I have tremendous memories of them because everybody had kids young, so I had all of these people in my life for so long. I was really blessed in that way. But it just opened up the door of conversation, memories, and things that they never would have known if I didn't make that mantel bread that day.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about your mom. We were at the Nashville Underground.
I do that all the time.
For my 50th.
The National Nashville.
I know, because it used to be the National in New York, right?
That's right.
But no, when we were there, I saw that there was, I think it was Lynn's something.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese.
So tell us a little bit about Lynn, because I know that she was such a center of your family, and you
totally. She was the glue that held everything together, and she was light, and she was love, and she was joy, and that really comes from my mother's side of the family as well. My grandmother was very similar in that way. Everything was positive and everything was going to be okay, and so much love, unconditional love flowing out of these women. And I feel, a tremendous obligation. But it's not hard for me to do because I was born into that, and I was raised that way, and it's in me. But if you need to take the opportunity and think about, I need to let this come out and pass this on to my children. We're so busy every day. We're just doing. As a matter of fact, I used to ask my kids all the time, I would say to them, I don't know what you're eating. Obviously, you're still alive. I'm happy about that.
Love that.
I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
I am still a single mother. So, I would be busy at work and running around and doing this, that, and the other thing. And, I'm like, look, they're growing, they're thriving. I'm doing my job. Everybody's still alive. So,
Right.
So, but having the opportunity to, Sundays, I would try to make dinner with them. And because when you're together, you start talking, I want to carry that love from my mother. My mother loved cooking for everybody, the boys, my father, me, the children. That was her expression of love. She would say, I'm going to come visit today, and you want me to make meatballs? And I'm like, no, don't make meatballs. Of course, it's everything. Like, I'm going to come over and roast a chicken. And she would say, the smells, I just want to put the smells in the air, and the aroma is so important. It just makes it feel like a home. That's what she was all about. So I never in a million years, if you said to me, Neeka, you're going to have a group called Baking New Memories where you're going to be baking and sharing memories of your mother. And no, I would have said, I can't even imagine how that would happen. But it really is adding the element of, or the facet of my life that really was so big coming from my mother. I'm learning every day how important it is even to me, the group. It helps me, and I keep telling everybody, you're helping me as much as I'm helping you.
Yeah. I loved it when you were making your mom's meatballs, and you kept smelling. You're like, oh, you just have to smell the garlic and you'll know when you've had enough. And
that's exactly right.
That's so true.
But a lot of cooking is like that.
Yeah.
A lot of cooking is like that,
And music. I mean, it's all brings back memories and, it's just.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to cook or bake?
Bake. Yeah, I definitely prefer to bake, but I forgot that I also love to cook. I forgot that when I used to be home as a single mom, I was married at that time, but I was a stay-at-home mom with the children. They were little, and I forgot that I loved to just make concoctions and throw chicken thighs in a pot and throw everything in on top of it, some sauce and some Worcestershire and some barbecue sauce. Just how bad can that be? That I'm like, this is going to be great. And it was fantastic. And I forgot I did that kind of stuff all the time because life just got so busy.
Right.
Yes. And I think that's kind of what we're all about too, is finding that space again, really what makes you happy. And I mean, I don't even know you personally, and I can tell this is just makes you so happy.
It really does. It is the light of my life. I can't even express how much I'm enjoying it. And also the other things that it's led to, and other doors that have opened up with the time that I've had to do this with Brad Peterson.
I just listened to that podcast, and I started the one where you and he first talked,
Yeah.
And then I started listening to the one about, and I wrote his name down, the kid from Ethiopia that is
Isaiah.
oh my gosh. I haven't
not
finished
phenomenal?
it yet, but what a story.
I know, and that's the thing about doing the podcast as well, as I'm getting to meet like the coolest people in the world, and I'm sort of growing my fishbowl of friends. I always have said, that's another thing. You don't have a lot of time for friends,
Right.
when you're a single mom and you're busy and you're working and everything. I'm just enjoying. I'm a very, very social person.
Yeah.
And I forgot a lot of this stuff about myself. So this has really just helped me remember who I am, what I love, and I'm getting to be involved in it. I'm going to keep it going.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Amazing. One quick question. Can you touch on the Iron Will a little bit? That's the podcast I was listening to.
Yeah, absolutely. So such an amazing, the Iron Will network that my friend Judy Diethelm has put together, and it is for suicide prevention for first responders and veterans. There is so much to this. If you have not been on the app yet, there's an app that you can download, and I'm going to be adding this all to my website. Like everything is such like it's a little bit of a slow process because I have a lot that happened in a really short period of time.
We did that.
Yeah. But Judy is her and I are going to sit down, and she's going to help me get through on the back end, so where I can add the content to the Iron Will and all of that. There's channels on there for people to choose from, and it's all about supporting one another. So Baking New Memories is a channel on Iron Will. Okay, so people are able to go there to sort of find the support group, or the thing that speaks to them, that helps them feel better, especially in the times that we're in, and things are still uncertain with opening back up, and how are things going to be. So you're dealing with first responders and veterans who already have their forms of PTSD and the difficulties they've been through. Then you add uncertainty on top of that. So this is a platform, a place for them to come and find what they need all the time: music, lifestyle, sports, mental health, all of it.
That's such a great
Absolutely
idea.
love it. So could we put that link on ours as well?
Absolutely.
It's not just a Nashville community, is
No.
it? Yeah,
Nope.
it's a big-
Absolutely not. And I'll get you guys definitely a lot more information on that. That's the next part of what I'm going to be working on. And a couple more things, but I'll share it all with you. Trust me. I'd love to just put everything out as much as we can. Be awesome.
Yes.
So when you mentioned you're an orthodontist assistant, right?
Yes.
So have they talked of reopening? I know here in Fargo that they have, the dental offices have been given the go-ahead, so.
Yeah. Yep. We actually are open again.
Okay.
So yeah.
Have you had people not come back? Because that's been happening around.
No.
Okay.
Everybody wants their braces fixed. They
I
don't
meant more
care.
so just like the workers, like some of the
is all
workers
the
don't want to
staff back?
expose
No.
them.
Well, the nice thing is that we are a small office, and we're also like a family. We have worked with our doctor for many years. I've been with him for just about 7 years. So, we support each other no matter what. If I told him I was uncomfortable for whatever reason, he would support that. Same thing, we have one of our girls, the girl that I work with closely, we work in the back together, and she is not a single mom anymore. She's been a single mom for a long time. She's got very little kids. If she, it's a lot for her to come back and be around patients and then go home to her kids who are now not in school. Right? Because schools are all closed. So we just all support each other however we can,
Awesome.
Just get through the day.
Well, I know Teresa had, you had a trip planned to Nashville right before the COVID, she had to cancel.
Yes.
So how are things looking on Broadway?
So things are starting to open up. The Nashville Underground actually is open this weekend at half capacity. I think they're going to do what I think a lot of other places are doing, is just sort of closed on the slower days of the week. It's just not worth, because it's not like people are packing. And also, flights aren't really, even though we're like reopening, flights aren't necessarily coming in and out. So it's going to be a little bit of a slow movement. But the nice thing is when you do go down to Broadway, you do hear a little music, you do see, a couple more people out, which is real. And you can go and walk into a place and have a bite to eat or have a drink and feel, a little bit of normalcy again. So, but Nashville will reopen, and Nashville will be stronger than ever. And you should come.
I love Nashville.
Actually,
come.
Yeah, there's my mug. We'll definitely go. We've been to Nashville a couple of times and absolutely just love it. So we'll be back.
Yeah, no, this is, I'll share my 50.
Yeah.
Okay, because you'll appreciate this because it's your family. But anyway, so I kept telling these guys, I really want to visit the Nashville Underground because that's the bar that Gavin and Joey own and blah, 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 blah. And so, of course, we go in when I wasn't really ready to go.
Plus you had worked, it was a long time to get to Nashville because everything was canceling.
We ended up having to drive from Chicago to get to, it was a
wow.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. But anyway, so the next morning, we get up and start walking Broadway. And I mean, I had just worked out. I hadn't showered or anything. And Jeremy, the guy we're with, like, let's just stop in because it was kind of empty.
It was literally kind of morning, wasn't it?
Yeah. We walk in, and who's sitting front and center?
Right at the front of the bar.
Your dad and Gavin. And I was just like, of all times. And the other thing is, you'll appreciate this. I had chipped my tooth because I have a filler. So I look like
crazy.
Oh my God. It was just horrendous. But of course,
they were so grateful.
So nice.
Yes.
So, of course, so sweet. But yeah, it was just like the worst possible time I would have liked to have encountered.
That's so funny.
But of course, they were very gracious and so sweet. So
my dad is a real fixture down there.
Yeah.
He loves it down there.
I think that they have the best rooftop bar.
Oh, for sure.
In all of Nashville.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. The location.
Oh my gosh.
Everything about that building is fantastic. And I love being up on that roof. I mean, you can see just everything.
It's really good. Okay. Before we finish up though, tell me, you touched on this briefly. There's a recipe at the Underground in honor of your mom. What's that all about?
Yes, Lynn's mac and cheese. So it's not exactly the way that she made it, but she made a mac and cheese that was out of this world. And of course, all Joey has to do is put his touch to anything, and it's phenomenal. Joey happens to be an amazing cook as well.
He does everything.
You definitely have some creative genes in your family, I think.
We do. That's absolutely true. But you can definitely find some odes to some of our family members who have passed on the menu. And, and he really wanted that feel. He wants that family feel where you just walk in and you feel welcome at home. The food is phenomenal. Absolutely. Everybody should eat at the Nashville Underground. Phenomenal.
I'm going to have to try the mac and cheese when we're there next.
Well, and I feel like is it 4 levels?
4 stories.
Yeah, and I feel like each level has a little different vibe for sure.
Absolutely. Well, on Friday and Saturday nights, there's a dance club. They've been talking about the bowling alley, which was something that was in motion before COVID sort of just stopped everything in its tracks. So that'll all have to be revisited. By the way, it's the only place on Broadway where you can ride a mechanical bull.
I've heard that bull.
Yes, people come in just for that. Yeah. It's a really, really big deal. So
that's awesome.
So when will we see something of yours on the menu? Do we need to be advocating for that?
I want that. I want you to put that drink that your sister made on the menu.
Now that's not a bad idea.
Yes.
That's something. Yeah. That's probably a possibility.
Can you
but something
to the
that
about that, please.
I'll see if I can get in touch with them. I'm not sure if they'll take my call.
So how is your dad doing? You mentioned that he's been having maybe some little health issues or.
Yeah, he's doing really well. I'm going to tell you something amazing about my father is his just zest for life. He loves life and his personality. It's the best personality I've ever seen. I mean, if that man doesn't make somebody laugh, everybody that he walks by, he gives a laugh to. And
you should share the story that you told about when he was in New York, when your mom was sick and he was walking down the street and she got so tired and what he did.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah. It's really amazing and shows exactly who my father is. That when my mother was really ill and she started her second leg of chemotherapy, which made her sicker really, and it was very warm out. It was the summertime and they were in New York City, in Manhattan. So they were walking back from the hospital and my mother was having trouble making it back. And my father, even people were opening doors to the building saying, do you want to bring her inside for the air? Well, my father looked over, and you know how on the side of the road people throw out furniture and all kinds of stuff. There was a chair, just like a chair, and my dad picked the chair up and walked with the chair with my mother, and every time she needed to sit down, she sat down.
See,
And
every girl should look
I could
for
cry talking
that.
about it. That's
Yes.
correct.
For that in a spouse. Yeah.
That's correct. Well, my father and I were actually walking down the street today, and he said, "You walk on this side." He wanted me to go to the left of him, and he was on the side closest to the street. And I said, "Why?" He said, "That's how every man should walk his woman."
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
What
Protecting you.
mean,
Yeah.
That's right.
lucky for your kids, they have that as a role model.
That's
right?
amazing.
I know. He's
That's so cool.
amazing.
Well, I feel like we just skimmed the, I wish we had more
In
time.
the surface. That's okay.
I know.
Yes, so appreciative.
I'm gonna keep watching your lives, and I'll be commenting with everybody else. They're so fun. I just love them. And if anybody wants a little humor, I loved it when you kept yelling at, is it Jorge?
Jorge, I'm gonna punch you.
He kept going in the shots and stuff.
That is, yeah, that's Annalia's boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's from Venezuela, and they met in school. And yeah, I mean, like, if what he was trying to do in all of those, by the way, nobody knows this, he was trying to keep my dog quiet. My yappy dog, Rocky, the whole time. Instead, we see Jorge all over.
That's a good outtake to watch.
Yep,
It's very
yep.
hilarious. So you're doing awesome. So
Thank
well,
you.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
looking forward to continue your journey. And hopefully we can chat again some other time.
Absolutely. Delve a little deeper at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.